Hi, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Happy Friday Eve. My name is Dulcie. I'm your territory sales manager. We are doing these monthly meetings, 30 minutes of a quick hit of information for you guys. So you have myself and then your underwriter here with us today, Catherine. And we are going to be doing a $5 gift card for anyone that emails our marketing team after the webinar. They get a $5 gift card to Starbucks. And then we are also doing a special $25 gift card, and that's for anyone that decides to chat in and ask questions. You're going to be put into a drawing. We want to make this as interactive as possible. So feel free to, send in questions as we go along, and you'll be entered in for that drawing. So this today is just specific to HO6 condo. We have a lot of tips and tricks to get the best rate possible in our system. And before we get to that, Catherine is going to go over the capacity with you guys. So thanks again for joining.
Thank you, guys. Hope everybody's doing well. So for our condo capacity, HO6, what we're looking at is the traditional policy with optional features. So you can give your customers the protection that they need at a right price, hopefully. Um, so it has to be a minimum of coverage A between 25,000 to 3 million is the max. Um, We are currently, I believe recently we had the 10% of a rate reduction. So if you guys have quoted before, maybe now you can start trying to requote because you might get a little bit better options as far as premium goes. The wind-driven rain is included on everything. It's not just diamond or golden diamond anymore. It's also on the basic package. So the wind-driven rain will be included on there as well. And you can always include, if the insured agrees with the mandatory mediation arbitration, which we like to call it MMA for short, because we know it's a little bit of a tongue twister. Um, that will be up to a 25% non-hurricane on a non-hurricane premium. And as far as coastal capacity, the what they have to follow under would be what they have to, yeah, be under would be a 2002 or newer condo, masonry or superior construction. The unit that we're insuring does have to be on the second floor or higher in a building that's a minimum of 3 stories or higher. That does include parking garage or any type of commercial space that's on the first, second, or third floor. So as long as it is 3 stories or higher for the full building, then that would be acceptable. And please keep in mind that if you're using a rater, because we have had issues where the rater, you're unable to get a quote, and there are certain things that are included in our Insurance Now or in iNow that are not an option in the raters. So we would strongly suggest and request that you go to our system, straight to our system, and just complete the information there, and that way it should be able to give you a premium. But if anything does come up, do not hesitate to reach out to Dulce or I, and we'll be happy to take a look at it as well. Certain risks that are near the water may also be eligible. So any type of issues that you have, we all know that computer systems are not perfect, and every time there's updates, something is good and then something else just messes up. So don't hesitate to reach out, even if you do get any type of issues or that it's closed capacity. We can always take a look at it for you, okay? So any type of system stops that you have, don't hesitate to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. So we have a quick coverage comparison here. So if you'll see here with our rate, you may have noticed, especially if you're in the South Florida area, that if you are getting a rate, it is coming up a little bit lower on the rating system. And I wanted to give you this little, this is a screenshot of Quote Rush, and just to compare what you're getting with our policy based on as versus another carrier. We did blur out the other carriers' names, but as you can see, we're pretty far down on the bottom there. But what you'll notice is um, that in the personal liability, you're at 48,000, or under loss of use, you're at 48,000. So you get 48,000 loss of use as well as a flat dollar deductible. So that dollar deductible is available for your insurance instead of doing a percentage deductible. So that is all kind of value that can be added to that policy. And then in our next slide, we will go over how to get the most competitive rate, even with all of that being there. Okay, so here is where you will get the best rate. So this is the before rate. So as you can see, this quote is at $11,643. So what we have a weird niche in our system where if you go and you take off special C and you take off and you add binding arbitration, that will get you to next slide, please. $6,511. Now, this is with the basic policy. I would recommend adding that the binding arbitration to it, and then also either the silver or the gold package to the policy. As a quick reminder, binding arbitration is a discount. It's not necessary to have on policies, but it is available on our HO3, DP3, DP1, HO6. If there's a claim, we go to mediation first. If we can't work it out through mediation, we go to arbitration, and then that's final. It's about 15 to 25% discount on the non-hurricane portion of the premium. So this is the way that you can get the best rate for your insureds.
So for also keep in mind that in this slide, we'll show that our HO6 coverage is very customizable. If you have insureds that are comfortable with having no water or limited water, you can include that as well for a lower premium. So they'll have the full, limited, or no water option. You'll have the deductibles starting at 500. So we have the 500, the 1,000, the 2,500, and the $5,000 deductible. Wind exclusion, if they're comfortable with that as well, and or if maybe the risk might not um, be eligible with wind, you can always exclude it as well for a lower premium. Let's see.
Just to
And like,
kind of go over the water options too. So full water you can always offer to your insureds for 30 years and newer. You do have that full water option. However, we want to give multiple options to your insureds. So if you go with a limited water policy, that will bring the rate down about 18% overall. And then if you go with no water, that is an additional 33% discount. So that is available on the HO6, all those different options. We just want to give all of the insureds, something that's customizable.
yeah, thank you, Dulce. And then you have just the one last thing is the ordinance of law. So it will automatically include the 25%, but you can lower it to 10% as well. And then we have the available discounts for additional, a lower premium. So their insurance score will also, it can affect the premium. And in our system, the higher the insurance score is, the lower the discount. So the lower the insurance score, the higher the discount. We have the military, multi-line, meaning if they have a dwelling policy, whether as long as it's a primary residence, if they have whether it's a DP3 or if the HO6 is a primary or the HO3, and they also carry, let's say, a boat or maybe a tenant property or a golf cart, then you can include that in your primary residence policy, and it should give you an additional discount there as well. Email for the paperless, any protective devices as far as monitored or central. Secured community, meaning gated or maybe even limited access to the subdivision. senior retiree. So for retired, it's 55 or older, and for senior, it's 60 or older. Those discounts are included on there too. And the system will automatically include it when, depending on the date of birth, that's when it automatically includes it. It's not something that you check in the dwelling tab. It just automatically includes it depending on the date of birth. Water loss prevention, that's for our newer homes. Um, the system will automatically include it for our newer homes. So if you ever see that little issue at the top that says, please provide proof of water loss prevention discount, if it's a newer home and the system automatically includes it, you do not have to worry about submitting proof. Now, if it's an older home and you included it in the system, then that's when would have to provide a certificate of the water loss prevention. And then there's the wind credits as well for the windstorm loss mitigation.
Awesome, thank you. So for DP1 condo, we will do coverage A up to 200,000. Uh, it's ideal for harder to place older coastal risks. Keep in mind, we are still 30 years or newer in the South Florida area, but if you do see something in, say, Central Florida, and it's a 1960 condo, this would be kind of a good avenue instead of going uninsured. We do have the Value Guard product. And then we also do have it for South Florida if they want, the most competitive price. This is probably going to be it. Now, do keep in mind it is those five name perils, so it is not by any means an HO6 policy, but it is definitely for the more price sensitive client. And it's a great alternative to self-insuring. And you can also add the flood endorsement. So the flood endorsement can be added to any of our policies, and that can really beef it up a little bit more to protect them from that peril. And then it will be replacement costs if it is a total loss. So that is the other thing. If it's a total loss, it is replacement costs. So we do get some pushback from lenders. Technically, they do have to accept it because of those reasons. So, and you can also have additional savings with deductible options and win loss mitigation credits. Okay, so this is available for you guys, is our incentives. So the current incentives that we're running are specifically for Broward, Miami, Palm Beach. If you don't know your vendor code, reach out to myself. You do have to enter a vendor code to get your incentive payout. What we need, if you don't have a vendor code, is a 2024 W-9. I can also supply that to you guys. Just send me an email and I'll get that over to you. But what is available right now is through the month of October. We're doing $50 for every HO3, HO6, DP3, or DP1. So that's extended through October in Palm Beach, Broward, Miami. The first three agents to write 10 policies with at least 10,000 premium each earns a round of golf at Doral Golf Club. And every 100 condos bound through year end, HO6 or DP1 earns one night at the Seminole Hard Rock. So if you think about it that way, you can win some money to then go and spend at the Hard Rock for betting. Awesome. So thank you guys. We have some questions in the chat. Um, I'm sorry, I just saw Patrick McMahon, and I thought it was Patrick Mahomes was on the chat. Uh, wow, that catfished me. But we'll start with Richard Edwards' comment. 3 million is the binding authority. So yes, so we have different binding authorities for different policies. For HO6, it is 3 million binding authority. That's not TIV. That's just what you can bind yourself coverage A. We will go higher than that, but after that 3 million mark is when you will have to submit to underwriting. And just as a refresher, I know this was a HO6 kind of presentation, but for HO3, it's 6 million coverage A. For DP3, it's 3 million. And then DP1 will actually go up to 1 million for any single family. Okay. Dominique. If EasyLinks doesn't pull a quote, will we be able to pull up the information in your site, or do we need to start a fresh quote in your system? That's a good question. It was for some time not pulling a rate in our system, and then if you were looking up the information in our system, you could find it. But I want to say that you're gonna have to start a fresh quote. I don't think it's gonna allow you at this point. Okay, there's Patrick Mahomes. Is A3 credit considered hurricane protection in Palm Beach County? So no, it is not considered hurricane, but what we do allow, and this is statewide, if it's 2012 or newer, you can apply hurricane automatically. If it's 2002, you can apply basic opening protection. But any sort of A3, as long as if it's rated to, if it's 2012 and newer, you can put that on. If it's 2002 and newer, 2002 to 2012, then you can add basic.
And if I can just add to that, Dulce, so if the system automatically includes credits, you're not including them, but if the system automatically is including them, that means that it was received on our end, so you do not have to provide supporting docs for it. Now, if you add these credits, then yes, you would have to um, provide either the win mid or whatever supporting docs are needed for said credit.
You do want to take the next question?
Um, the water loss prevention, is that the next one?
Yes.
Okay. So can water loss prevention be included if they have a smart water shut-off device? It can, as long as you have the supporting doc, that shows that the certificate, basically. So if you upload the certificate, then yeah, most likely we can provide that credit.
For coastal capacity, is there specific miles to coast? Catherine, I'm going to let you take that one too.
Is there if So this is a little bit of a gray area where I'm going to say if it falls within the guidelines that we are showing you, which is 2002 or newer, the unit is in the second floor or higher, and the minimum uh, amount of stories that the building has is three, then most likely it will be eligible, even if it's on the coast. There will be Oh, and please remember that even if it's not giving you a premium or if it says error, please take it to our system so it can I just want to um, reiterate that because I don't want you guys to give up because the system maybe it's not showing you a premium. So I want you to try to go into our system and do it. But if it falls within those guidelines, then most likely it will be eligible.
The other note too is we will do X wind anything. So if that is something you see, it's definitely something that we would want. So
Yeah.
do you have any other options for providing fire sprinklers?
Do we? I don't think we get a lot of
I think they're asking
requests
for
for that.
proof for the fire sprinklers. Is the proof necessary to show?
Oh, proving. Oh, no, 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 it's not necessary. So you can add local fire, local burglar, limited access without having to provide any proof. Thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah, thank you.
Was not
Unless it's
reading that correctly.
Yeah, unless it's monitored or central, then that's when we request the proof.
For high value units, will the system make us work an RCE?
You will have to include an RCE whether it doesn't matter the value of the property. That RCE has to support the coverage that you're trying to include on the policy.
Perfect. The next question is, do you accept condo/hotel units titled under an entity name that can be rented on a short-term basis? So yes and no to that question. So hotels, we are kind of staying away from, but we will do like a condo that's a short-term rental. So Airbnb, VRBO, it does have to be property managed. And we do like to see 2 nights, 3 days minimum. for that property. So not necessarily a hotel. We don't want to see one-nighters, but we will do that. I mean, you can also write that in the name of an LLC, trust, irrevocable trust. Um, all of that good stuff is accepted.
Yeah. What are the guidelines for prior water losses? So if it's for the property that you're trying to insure, then we're obvious, and it's the insured um, that filed the claim, so they're the owners of the claim, then we will request proof of repairs or, making sure that the property is in good condition, obviously. Now, if it's for the insured, but if it's for a different property, then it's on a review basis. So we'll just have to take a look at the reason, the cause of the loss, any information that you have because it belongs to the insured, because those type of losses always follow the insured. But the more information you can give us, the more we'll be able to, review for an exception.
Okay. Do you write vacant condos for estates? I think is that like looking for like a LLC trust, irrevocable trust? Is that what she's referring to, Catherine? Or
I believe so. Vacant condos, yes.
yeah.
If as long as it's even for, let's say, a land trust, that would be eligible. You just wouldn't be able to include liability on it. But if we're talking about LLC, then I don't think it should be an issue.
Yeah, I know that any sort of vacant condo, and keep in mind too, any vacant policy is a 3 months earned policy. So I think the only other carrier doing that kind of setup is Tapco. So we will do 3 months earned. Anything else can be prorated back. But yes, we will write it in an estate to answer the question. Is there a secured community discount? Are we required to provide supporting documentation?
Secured community meaning whether it's gated or whether it's uh what is it, when there's security guard and things like, well, security guard I'm thinking for a condo. But if it's gated, honestly, we usually don't request supporting documentation. Something pretty bad has to happen for us to request any type of documentation for that. So you would be able to include that as a discount.
Okay. Tiffany, I think there was a question that came in before the webinar. Do you mind reading that as well?
Yes. Why am I not seeing American Integrity when I'm using a rater?
So that's a great question, and it's definitely applicable to the South Florida area. We've been having some issues with the rating systems based on, what you're using. If you're using EasyLinks, Quote Rush, anything along those lines. If you are not seeing a rate on our products, email me. I will get you connected with someone from our internal team that will be able to walk you through what exactly is going wrong. Specifically for the HO6, though, I would always double check that if it's coastal, that you have made it superior construction and that you have it on the second floor or higher. So to see a rate, because a lot of times that when you pull up the dwelling tab, those two things will not be in place and that will not show a rate. So I guess my biggest takeaway from today would be if you don't see a rate, contact us. We really, really want to grow South Florida, specifically the condo market. So we're more than happy to walk you through, see what's going wrong. That way we can ramp up that business. So reach out to myself and Catherine, and we will get it figured out. Four 4 point
Yeah.
required for HO3, HO6.
So for HO6, it's 40 years or older. And for an HO3, it's 20 years or older.
And then we
Uh,
had one. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, for HO3, it's year 31 is when a
Oh,
4 points
30
required.
years or older. I'm
It's
sorry.
a
Yes. Thank
DP3,
you.
that's 20 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then one more question came in online. Can we write a DP1 vacant condo?
You
Yes,
can.
yes.
Yep. You go ahead, Dulce.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say yes, vacant, for sale, light renovations. The main thing with our the vacant product that I see the most is agents will get a stop because they don't have system updates. We like to see like partial updates we consider to be updates. So the age of the HVAC, age of the water heater is the age of the electrical, the age of the plumbing. So all of that applies to all of our policies. Partial updates are updates. But the thing is with the DP1 is if there's, if they're doing work to it, light renovations, they may not have those updates yet. As long as you get proof that you are going to be getting those updates, that you have like a signed contract or a deposit down, send it into underwriting. We will write that business. Okay, so then we have, um, do you accept no prior? The only thing we have written into stone about no prior is that we will write it on a DP1. Any other policy, you have to, it'll be a case by case basis. We'll usually require proof of no loss.
For the distance to coast, what I mentioned before is that as long as it falls within our guidelines that was shown before, um, then it shouldn't be an issue. Anything else out of those guidelines, then it would be on a review basis.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that looks like our 30 minutes is up. Thank you all for joining. Again, I'm Dulcie, I'm your TSM, and Catherine is your underwriter. Please don't forget to reach out to Tiffany for your free Starbucks drink, and then we will be announcing the winner of the $25. We'll send it in email. So thank you again. Really appreciate you guys' time, and have a great Friday Eve.
Thank you guys.